Thursday morning, and I am on my way to my buddy's shop who has bought a hoopty of a Dodge Magnum, and I want it. So it's a Magnum RT with the 5.7 Hemi, and from hearing videos about that he sent me of it, when he got it running, it sounds like it has a complete cam and lifter failure of the MDS system again. I say again because that happened to my Ram that I'm driving right now, and I know how to fix it. It's just it sucks when it happens. But yeah, that thing's clacking away and sounds like the top end is fighting with itself. So it's an 06, which also, if they get overheated, they've got a tendency to drop valve seats. So I want to make sure it's not that, because then I don't want to deal with it. But I brought some tools with me, and I'm going to pull the spark plugs and coils off of it, and I have a bore scope that I'm just going to stick a camera down the cylinders and see if any of them dropped a valve seat and see if there's anything with piston damage. The bottom end looks all okay, then I'll take it. I mean, the body's not great either. It's got some dents and stuff, but it's dirt cheap, and I want to get my girlfriend something that she could drive that isn't 600 plus horsepower. So this thing will just get cammed and cam-tuned, maybe some long tubes and exhaust, and be yours to drive. So yeah, I have my trailer hooked up right now. You can't see it out the back window. Ram's too high and the bed cover's on, so I will record when I get over to the car. Alright guys, here is the Magnum. There's the engine that I'm about to pull the coil plugs and plugs out of just to take a look. I already took the engine cover off. Body wise, it's in decent shape, other than it's got some peeling paint on the hood, and I think there's one spot on the roof line which kind of sucks, but maybe it'll get a blackout roof. We'll see. So, dent down there, and there's a big dent in the hatch, but I can't really get back there with how overgrown with weeds this thing is right now. So let me start getting these coil plugs all off, and then we will shove a camera down these spark plug holes and see what we find. Hopefully there's no drop valve seat, because if it dropped the valve seat, then I'm probably not buying it. That's too much work. I don't want to have to build the bottom end or rebuild or put new pistons in it. So yeah, I'll set a time lapse on this thing and work on that. So as you can see, this thing's been a rat's nest for a while. I've got nuts and peanuts and shells and everything from squirrels trying to make a home in here. So yeah. There are 16 plugs in here. I'm only going to pull one out of each cylinder just so I can take a look down inside the spark plug holes. Alright, now I have my magnet and I can start pulling plugs out. And the first thing I could do is just look at the tip of the spark plug, see if it's smashed, because that's a telltale sign that there's been stuff in the cylinder that is not supposed to be free moving. So first one looks good. Second one looks good, slightly oily, but that's better than how dry the first one looked. Third one good. You know what, I'm gonna leave them out right away because I still need to stick a camera down it anyways. It's got champion plugs. Not my favorite, but fourth one looks good. This side so far, no obvious signs of drop valve suit. Looks good. Also looks good. Looks good. And looks good. Alright, good sign so far. Time to grab my borescope camera. It's over here. And take a look inside these cylinders. This is a cheaper Amazon unit that comes in handy. It's got way too long of a lead for what I need it for, but works. So, straighten it out. Let's take a look. Need to straighten it out some more. Can't get it in the hole. There's that piston. No signs of metal, that's good. Cylinder looks a little bit rusty from sitting. Looks to just be surface rust though. I think this thing sat for 2 years, so. Come on. Oh no. Oh, there we go. That cylinder is Alright, that cylinder is bad. That sucks. So that would be a bottoming job. Let's just look at the rust right away, out of curiosity. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. Alright, well, still, cylinder 3 is bad, so it needs a bottom end. Well, it doesn't need a bottom end, but it needs a piston and a new cylinder head for the passenger side. That's not good. So, it's starting to look like I'm not buying this thing. We'll see. I'll see if he gets me any better of a deal on it, but it's not really worth the effort for. I mean, he wanted to give it to me cheap first anyways, but now it's not really worth the effort of pulling the engine out. So yeah, that's a downer. Let's see. So he gave it to me for scrap value, so I guess I bought a Magnum with a broken cylinder. So we'll see what kind of project it turns into, whether I actually fix it or just part it out and scrap it or what. Time to get the trailer ready and get the thing loaded. So yeah, let's see what I just got myself into. Okay, so I ended up buying the hoopty of a Magnum. It does need a piston, so that sucks, but the rest of the cylinders have good compression. I hope that cylinder bore is okay, because if it is, then it'll be a fairly easy fix. So body wise, it's okay. It's got some dents here and there and some flaking clear coat on the roof, but for scrap value I can't really complain. This is what I'm most upset about, just because that means I'm gonna need a new hatch if I don't feel like repairing that. So I could probably take the inner panel off and pop it out and body work it a little bit, but it's just that it's right on the body seam, so I don't think it's gonna pop out that easy. We'll see. Body wise, again, it's in decent shape. So, and motor wise, I have already picked up, sorry, this is like 2 days later after I brought it home. I have already picked up some Eagle heads off of the 09 Pluses, which flow a lot more, pick up a lot more power than the pre-Eagle ones that are on it. So I just need to get an intake manifold and some other stuff like push rods and things now. Got some nice $100 long tubes for this thing already. And yeah, I'll just hop this thing up a little bit and put a piston in it, rebuild the motor with fresh bearings and stuff, and it'll be a nice 450-ish horsepower daily driver Magnum. I am strongly considering, or actually not considering, but fighting the urge to want to put a turbo on this thing too. I have done turbo Hemi. My Ram had a turbo at one point, and it ran great for 2 years. I got tired of having to run 93 in that thing, and it was always on like that transition of boost and not boost on the highway because it's under so much load. So I ended up unturboing that thing, but I still have the turbo and wastegate and everything that was on there. But not for now, because this thing's an all-wheel drive model and it probably can't support much more than a decently healthy stock bottom end NA deal. So but yeah, there's that hoopty. That'll be a project at some point. I do want to do a charge on front end, or I want to make a charge on, which is a front end off a charger on this thing. We'll see if I could find parts, because for that I need I was debating on either the 10 to 14 front end, because I do think those look more aggressive, or a what are they called? I think 15 to 18, you know, like the Hellcat ones, Get an SRT front end and hood off one of those, and then you just use your old fenders with the new. You need to pick up a set of Charger fenders and do some cutting and some welding near the backside just to match up the body lines. But everything bumper wise bolts up pretty easily with a Charger core support and everything. You just have to work the fenders a little. We'll see. I'm just throwing around ideas. So let me get this thing unloaded. Alright guys, so I bought that Magnum and I already started ordering parts. I have a new piston because hopefully that cylinder bore is okay, and it looks like it's okay. Yeah, I got long tubes, a cam, all the stuff I need to fix the engine. I got newer Eagle heads off an 09 Plus, so it'll have a bump in compression and bump in horsepower. And I'm gonna make this thing a charge em with a 2011 to 2014 front end. I am not that big of a fan of the rounder 15 plus Charger front ends on these things. It kind of doesn't match up since the Magnum is kind of a boxy car, and those cars are kind of round. So yeah. This thing is fairly rust free, but I've got one giant dent in the hatch, and I am going to be repainting this thing once I do the charge em front end. So let me see. Oh, that's not the keys. Yeah, the car itself is fairly rust free. It's just, that sucks. And I could find another hatch, but I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I could just pull this inner liner off and pop that out from the inside somehow. It's already trashed, so I mean, I don't want to trash this, but the hatch is already trashed, so I could attempt that. Not gonna hurt anything. So here's already some mufflers I got for it. I got some Flow FX stainless Flowmasters, which are straight through, not chambered. Long tubes that are down there. Water pump, heads, cam, bunch of timing set stuff and lifters and all that. High flow cats, because I'm keeping cats on this thing. I don't want it to stink. So yeah, that's the fun of it. Should go fairly quick. I'm not doing any major custom fab and putting an engine that's not supposed to be in it. So yeah. So poor Mini is gonna have to get pushed off to the side for a few months. So those videos are gonna pause for a little. But this thing should go relatively quickly. I think I could knock this thing out in less than a month, or maybe exactly a month. Don't hold me to that, but by me saying that now is gonna it gives me a time frame. So, and for personal reasons, I am going to build this thing first and put the Mini to the side for a bit, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to get the Mini done for the spring so I could drive it, but I got really good progress done on the Mini. Now I just need to figure out axles. The quotes I got from Drive Shaft Shop are kind of outrageous, so I don't know, I might even gonna hit up some local places in the time being while I work on this thing. I'm gonna call some local places and see if they could cut and respline some factory style shafts to change one end on them to what I need it to be. I don't know, we'll see. I guess I don't need the beefiest axles in the world. I'm not building this drag car that's going to be living on slicks, so I could live with some factory replacement strength axles at minimum. So, but yeah, the fun is now going to be I have to get the Mini out of the garage, get it covered up in the yard, and turn this thing around and put it in because I need to pull the engine. So. Major change of plans, but we'll see how this all goes.